everyone, Amber here from Majestic. Thank you so much. Welcome back to my channel. We are on month 3 already of Cut and Cut's Fall Puzzle Mystery Quilt. It's the Wild West. I am sewing up a large Josie. I absolutely love the colorway. So for this month, we have 2 blocks. This is 3A and this is 3B. And they were so fun to put together. I really hope you enjoy it. I don't know if we've ever sewed a block like this one in a Cut and Cut's Puzzle Mystery Quilt, or at least ones that I have done so far. So I'm really excited about it. Also, this is the last weekend to sign up for the Puzzle Mystery Quilt. So if you are thinking about joining and you haven't done so, now is your last chance. So I have a link in the description that will bring you to the Cut and Cuts. You can pay in full or monthly. It's so much fun, and I'm so privileged to be an ambassador. So I hope you enjoy the tutorial. If you do, please consider giving me a like or subscribing. It helps my channel grow, and I appreciate it so much. Enjoy the tutorial. So this is month 3 of Wild West. I'm sewing up the large Josie. So I have my card here with all my fabrics labeled. I have the instructions. We're making 2 sections. Where it says pieces in this pack, I always lay out my fabric. So that way it's in the same thing or the same way, and I can make sure I'm grabbing the correct pieces. I have my pressing mat and iron. I'm sewing on my Singer 5528. I'm using a white Aurifil thread and a 7010 universal needle, and then I'll use clips and snips as we go along. So let's get started. We're going to start with section 3A, and we need, we're making 2 of each section. So over here, it tells you how many that we need to make. If you're making both blocks, you're going to want to follow this. For the tutorials, I only make 1 of each block. So I'm cutting each of these in half. So we are going to start with our large C square. And I'm going to turn it on its point like a diamond. And then I need a D triangle to the bottom right. So everything is die cut. I am going to line this up. And just, I'm eyeballing it to make sure it's centered. You'll notice that there's a little bit of gap on each side of the top of the square. But when that is pressed open, you're not going to see that. That's why the edges come off over here. And I am using a full 1/4 inch seam allowance. I don't measure my blocks at the end. As long as you are consistent with your seam allowance, it will come out fine. I'm really terrible at the scant 1/4 inch, which is why I just do that full 1/4 inch. Okay, and for this, our arrows are pressing out towards that D triangle. So I like to press the back first and then gently open the seams. I'm making sure that I'm not pulling on it because it's very easy to warp the fabric, and I don't have any water in my iron. I'm not using steam or starch or anything like that. I'm just using a hot iron. Or it's great, and then your fabrics won't shrink. Okay, so now we are on step 2, and we need 2 medium D triangles, and one is going to be laid out here. So I like to lay my block out as it looks in the picture to make sure that I have everything going the correct way. So this is what our block is going to look like. And I am going to start with the top one here. So I'm folding it down right sides together. By lining that up first, it really helps me make sure that I am putting these on the correct way. It's so easy to sew the wrong side. And I've gotten in the habit where I just hold my fabrics. But you can pin or clip them. I only tend to do that now if, I might have to rethread this. I only tend to pin or clip them if it's like a seam. Yeah, all right, I'm gonna turn off the camera while I fix this. This is all caught up. All right, I'm back. I had to just rethread my top needle. So again, I am sewing at that full 1/4 inch. And like I was saying, I only tend to pin now if I'm matching up a seam and I really want that seam to lie evenly. Okay, and then these we are pressing open. And the larger pieces, sometimes my seams want to kind of like fold back on themselves. So I'm just very mindful of that as I am pressing. Okay, so our last triangle is down here. Put that right sides together. Again, making sure everything is lined up. Again, that top length won't line up, but I'm just making sure that here along the right hand side it is. And that will mean that when we fold it open, everything will match up perfectly. I love how this block is constructed already. It's one of my favorite things about cotton cuts is I just learn all sorts of new methods as we go along each month. Okay, so I'm going to press that one open again. Okay, so you can see we have a large triangle now. I'm just going to set that to the side for a moment. So we are on step 3. So we need our fabric C again. And this time we need an A fabric to our top left. That is this really pretty blue. So again, I'm going to put it right sides together, making sure that I am lining this up and centering it. I love this Josie print. Okay, and again, we're pressing open, gently folding that. So easy with the, especially the triangle shapes, to accidentally stretch them. So I try not to tug any time that I am ironing. And so now we're going to do a similar thing to step 2. We need 2 of our larger A triangles. So this one is going to be pointing down. And then our one over here, we need it like that. And this is why I lay it out, because sometimes my brain has to see it first before I understand which way it's going to fold. All right, so now we're going to press or put this right sides together. And again, taking my time to line up the edge. These are a little bit bigger pieces, so definitely clip them if you need. And sometimes I backstitch, sometimes I don't. I'm trying to get in the habit. I always backstitch as a bag maker, but with quilts, I didn't. But I saw a long armor that really recommended it to make sure your seams are really secure. So I'm trying to get in the habit of making sure that I am backstitching when I'm quilting as well. Right, and I am just making sure that this is lined up the correct way again. So if this was turned on its side, it's making that large rectangle. I mean, triangle. I'm messing up all my shapes today. I'm sorry. So again, making sure that my sides are aligned. And making sure I am trimming everything. And again, we are pressing this seam open. All right, and then I am going to move this one to the side as well. We are now on step 5. So I need a large E square, which is this gorgeous orangish color. And then I need 2 large C squares. I love that this section has a lot of green in it. So we need one to the bottom left and the top right. And we are going to be adding a D triangle at the end, but first I'm going to sew these, and I'm going to start with the top one and just making sure that I line it up. They're all die cut. We haven't sewed anything of these, so they line up perfectly. And now for this, our fabric is going to be pressed towards that center E square, which is the nice pretty orange. So I'm going to press that back seam first and then gently open it. And now I'm going to do this bottom square. And then this one will also be pressed to our center E fabric. So I'm going to put that so it's facing up and press the back. That way when we fold it open, it folds nice and easy. Give it a good press from the front. Okay, and now we need 2 small D triangles, one on this top of this green here and one on the bottom. Over here, you can kind of see in the left-hand corner. So I'm going to start with the top one first. Very similar to what we did in steps 1 and 2. So this is a really cool block. I don't think I've done them like this yet. It's also a very large block. Okay, and then so for these, our seams are going to be pressed towards that smaller D triangle. So give it a nice press. And hit it with the iron. I'm going to move this up a little bit so you can see I have that D triangle down on this side now. So we're going to repeat for this side here. And it's always worth it to take a few extra seconds. Make sure you have everything lined up nicely. and I always cut my tails long with the Orifil thread. I'm used to using like polyester for bags, and I find this Orifil cotton really curls up. So I was having it come out of my needle a lot, so I just started cutting them extra long. Okay, so now we're going to fold this side open. Our seams are pointing to that smaller triangle again. Okay, and I'm going to leave this here because we need to attach our step 2 to the side of step 5. Step 2 here is our C triangle with the D fabrics. So step 2 was our one that used the white. So that is going to go on this side. And then our step 4 is the one that used the pretty blue fabrics. That is going to go up top this way. Okay, so you could sew either of them first. I'm going to start with the side that is closest to me. There are center seams right here. So I'm going to put them right sides together. Our fabrics should nest with each other. So that means our seams are being pressed opposite directions. So they should just like butt up nicely against each other. So I'm going to make sure my seams here are nested and clip them in place first. And then I will clip the rest of this piece here. And I'm not sure if you can tell on camera, it's a little bit, this one looks like it might move on me a bit. So we'll see how it comes out. I don't know if those seams will be lined up. There's a little bit of some extra fabric, so I'm just gonna check it one more time. Sometimes I have to bring the seam like closer to me to be able to see it. Okay, I'm gonna sew that one first. I ran out of bobbin at the end, so I'm actually going to fill a new one and then finish that seam line. Okay, and I have rethreaded my bobbin, and I have I'm finishing up that stitch line where I went out, and instead of unpicking it, I have just backstitched in the beginning and the end over my other thread to secure that end in place and to secure the new beginning stitch. All right, so now this one is being pressed towards that outside, so towards the bottom right. So again, and I know, yeah, see, my points don't match up on this one here. I'm not sure if it's, I did something when I stitched this one here with a deeper seam allowance, might have wobbled. I'm not going to unpick this all. I feel like when the quilt is done, you aren't going to really notice. So again, here you can see that it's off. It's off by about like a 1/4 inch too. So like I said, the only thing I can think of is that this went slightly deeper when I was sewing this side here together, but that's a lot of seams to unpick. And these quilts are just for me or my family. I don't plan on entering them in a show or anything like that. So All right, so now I just turned this around just so I could see the seams better. We'll see if this one lines. This one seems to line up more. I had to have taken a larger seam allowance here. And so like I said, I just turned it so it faced me. I'm going to put them right sides together. These are nesting much better. So those, yeah, they're aligning much better on this side. And then I like to clip all the way. This is such a large block. And I don't unclip the seam until like I'm right near the presser foot. This is so it hopefully shifts as little as possible. Right, and then this seam is going to be pressed open towards that section to the top left. Okay, gently fold it open. Oh yeah, you can see that these seams here, like the points match up almost perfectly. All right, so this completes our section 3A block. Go ahead and label that and we'll start on 3B. Now we're on to 3B. For step 1, we need a small B triangle and a small A triangle. And step 2, I'm going to do at the same time since they're both half square triangles and we'll be putting them together. And this one, I am going to need a small B triangle and a small F triangle. Right, and again, since they're both half square triangles, I'm going to put them right sides together. And I like to hand crank, especially when it starts on a point. And it's nice because this first piece of fabric will act like a leader and it's less likely to push my fabric down into the feed dogs. And then it saves also like thread, and I think it saves you time too. Okay, so for that first one with the BE fabric, we are going to press on to our top left to the B, which is the light pink fabric in Josie. And then for our BF triangle, we are going to press to the top right, which is also the B fabric. Again, that light pink, especially because here we have the lighter and darker pink with the F fabric. Okay, so now for step 2, we are joining these two steps together. Our E fabric should be on the left. Our F fabric should be on the right. And put them right sides together. And the edges should line up perfectly. And then for this one here, our seams are being pressed to the right hand side, which is towards that F triangle. And I'm going to move that to the left-hand side, put it out of our way. So step 4 and 5 and 6, we're making flying geese. So I'm actually going to do all 3 at once. So for step 4, I need one of those medium B triangles and 2 small E triangles, which are the orangest color. Then for step 5, I need a medium-sized E triangle, which is the orange, and 2 small B triangles. So this is going to be a little confusing. The colors are reversing. And then for our step 6, I need a large B triangle. And then on the left, a small F. And on the right, a small D. So F is this pink. On the right is a D fabric. So I'll just back that out. So I have 3 flying geese. This is step 4, 5, and 6 laid out right here. So now I'm going to take them to the machine and I'm going to sew all 3 at once. So I'm going to start on step 4, put it right sides together. And this just makes it so it goes a little bit more quickly. And you also don't waste as much thread as I said before. So our second one, we'll just have to be very mindful that we put them in the correct order when we're done. And then our step 6. And I'm going to try to keep them in order as I cut them. So this is the bottom one. This is the middle one. And then this is our top one. So it's still in the order 4, 5, 6. And these are all going to get pressed to the top right. Take my time. Sometimes I like to sew every single step in the order, finish one step before moving on. But sometimes if they're like the same, like these are all flying geese, so if it's the same style and they don't build on each other right away, I do this where I'm doing them more than one at the same time. All right, so now I'm going to start at the top again. Put these right sides together. This is step 4. Now step 5, right sides together. And step 6. And again, like I did with that first side, I'm going to keep these all in the same order so we don't get confused. And now this time we are pressing the triangles to that left side. Okay, and then this is our bottom one here. Okay, so now step 7. This is where we have to be very mindful. It says join step 4. So step 4 is our large B with the E to the top of step 3. So step 3 is this one here that we first made. So I am moving my 5 and 6 to the left. So again, this is step 4. And now this is step 3. So I'm going to put them right sides together. There's no center seam here. So I'm not worried about matching up a point. As long as our long edge is aligned, it will be great. So I'm just taking a second to line that up. Okay, and now for this section, our seams are being pressed up. So I'm going to press the back and then gently open. Okay, so now if we're reading this here, then add step 5 to the top. Step 5 is this one with our large E and 2 smaller B. So if you'll notice, you're doing it correct, because on the bottom, we have the 2 triangles, the different color. We have our B's making that arrow, and now this will make our E's have that arrow. So we're doing the same exact thing, putting it right sides together. I'm making sure I line up everything nicely. And again, all our seams are being pressed up in this pattern or this block. So press the back side, gently open. And you can see here, there's kind of the point should really come very close to that seam. So on the back here, you can see where the edges were lined up, but the middle kind of took a dip. So I'm going to run that through one more time with a little bit more of a seam allowance. So you could have unpicked it, but because this seam allowance was deeper, that first one isn't really going to be noticeable. It just makes the block more secure. Okay, so now let's open. All right, that's much better. So now you'll see here, it's more close to the point. It's still a little bit that you can see, but much closer. Okay, and now we are adding our last one to the top, and you will see that this B fabric here makes the arrow again. So again, I'm putting it right sides together, making sure I line everything up. Quilting for me is like relaxing. So like I said, I don't enter my quilts into quilt shows or anything like that. So for me, it's just enjoying the sewing, like a stress reliever. Try not to stress about my points or about my quilting. And for the most part, I think they come together really well. They're in a way that I'm happy with. And I know that if I give this to any family member, they're never going to notice anything. We're our own worst critics. All right, so now this finishes up our section 3B. So go ahead and label that and make sure you put your pictures in the Cotton Cuts group with your flat Nancy. All right, so we have just finished up month 3. We have 2 different sections. We have 3A and 3B. I really hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Please don't forget to take a photo with your flat Nancy and your blocks. Please post them in the Cotton Cuts Facebook group. You can win a prize. In the description, I will have a link to their group as well as to their website, to the Puzzle Mystery Quilt. Like I said in the intro, it is the last chance to sign up. So if you want to join in the fun, get your order in now, because signups are closing and you'll have to wait till the next one. So again, if you enjoyed the tutorial, please consider giving me a like or subscribing. It helps my channel grow, and I appreciate y'all so much. See you next month. Bye.